All right, family, so this is the video I'm sure that many of you are looking for about how I bought three houses, one, two, and three, for $20,000 total, not a piece. All right. So here's the thing. I just wanted to kind of bring you guys out here just to show you the neighborhood, show you how things look. But sometimes things can be a little deceiving to the eye. Because if you don't know that this is buying ugly houses like this is how people build wealth fast and in multiples, then you're in the right place. So let me show you something. Now I showed you these two houses, right? What I didn't show you is the house right next door to it, the new house, and the houses that they're building all up and down the street right there. So we're gonna get into kind of how I strategize, how I scout for these properties, how I use my wholesaling skills to get these properties, and how you can get in utilizing certain strategies and start buying houses that you can hold and own free and clear, or leverage. Leverage is the key word to buy other houses, So let me just say this one other quick thing. Now, I know many of you probably like to buy turnkey houses, houses that are already fixed up, houses that are already pretty. I do the same thing. And if that's your strategy and that's the only strategy you use, then, this may not be the video for you, because we're not talking about that strategy right now. What we're talking about is getting in and creating forced equity, owning things free and clear, or maybe owning something 100% of something so much that we can leverage it to buy those properties that you think that are pretty, and so that's the name of this game: leveraging, building net worth, building your passive income up. And I'm going to show you all of that and how this is done. But we're going to go continue in the lab, because anytime I'm out like this, it never fails. Somebody's going to come up to me and ask me a question or start talking to me. So on these longer videos, we'll start them out on location, and we will finish them in the lab. All right. So see you in the lab. All right, guys, we are in the lab now. And as promised, this is the video about how I bought three houses, the three houses that you saw in the intro, for $20,000 total, not a piece. And before we get into it, I just want to ask you guys, if I bring any value to you, if this content helps you anyway, if you'd like to see more of this content, please considering hitting the like button, leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel, so that we can continue to bring you this content as we grow this channel, as we do more interviews, as we collect more information to bring to you. That would be most helpful to us. Now, let's get into it. How I bought three houses for $20,000 total. Now, let me say this about the houses. As you can see, they are not perfect houses by far. There are two 3-bedroom homes, and then one 2-bedroom home, 1 bath, and it has a tenant and a new roof on it. Now, I don't care where you find three houses. I don't care if they're in the middle of Death Valley. If they're $20,000 for three houses, I don't see many ways that you can lose. Now, let me give you the backstory on what was going on. So I got a phone call from a young lady that was upset. And she told me a story about how a wholesaler had put the properties under contract. And shout out to my wholesalers, by the way, those that are doing good work out there. We love you. I do some wholesaling myself, but this wholesaler had put the property under contract, and they had missed, I think, 2 or 3 closing dates. Now, she had some unique financial challenges. Her husband had recently passed away. She really needed the money as a single parent raising her children, and had been, according to her, made several promises about closing dates that just kept being drug out. Now, I'm just relaying this story based on what she's telling me. And so she was just kind of at her wit's end. She was basically passing another closing date. And so she said that someone had given her my number because, obviously someone thought highly of me. I won't say any names here. And, what would I be interested in the property? And I said, absolutely, I would. Of course, I'm going to always do my due diligence. And I went out, looked at the properties. I said, okay, this could work. Everything checks out. Had a few more conversations with her and let her know that we were going to move forward. I was going to go ahead and get the contract filled out. And I was just, going to do everything in my power to see this through. Now, let me just say this as well. She was in a situation because it was the holidays, and she said, well, I was really looking forward to this money. Is there anything you could give me right now? Now, I don't typically do that. And for those of you that are experienced in real estate, you know that, in North Carolina, at least, you need some type of valuable consideration to make a contract a valid contract. So typically most people put maybe $100 down, $1,000 down. They may split it $500 due diligence, $500 escrow on the offer to purchase, just to make it a valid contract. That way you're paying for your due diligence period, which is your period that you kind of take to walk through the homes, get any type of inspections done, go on top, go beneath, whatever you do to make you feel comfortable that you're getting a good deal. Maybe you want to bring your contractors through and, just kind of see whether or not, it's feasible for you to buy the properties and if you can handle the repairs. But this wasn't the case here because I was going to do that anyway. I had already called my escrow agent, which is my closing attorney here. She needed some cash for the holidays because she wanted to do something for her kids. Now, here's where experience may come into play, and you have to make a judgment call sometime as an investor. Could I lose the money I was going to give her? Absolutely, I could. She was asking me for $2,000. And I know that because I asked her, I said, well, what do you expect and what do you need? She said, well, I think the other guy was going to give me $2,000, or can you do that? With hesitancy, I thought about it. I said, if this is the difference between getting 3 houses for $20,000 or not, I'm going to spend this $2,000. Sometimes you have to take chances in business, and I was willing to take this chance. So after I put my escrow money down with the attorney, I took the contract over to my attorney. I went ahead and just kind of lined everything up for my attorney to do a title search to make sure that we were going to be able to close on the property. That's a conversation for another time. But basically, long story short, if the houses didn't have clear title on them, then of course, I would have avoided the contract and tried to get my money back. But in this case, I was taking the chance. So I'm going to be honest with you about that. So I scheduled a time, met with her, dropped her off a $2,000 check at her house, talked a little bit more to her just to make sure that there were no facts that I was missing, you know what I'm saying? And it's always good to kind of feel the person out you're doing business with, especially if you're passing over some of your hard-earned cash to them. Everything seemed to be on the up and up. She told me that she did have some problems with the tenant that was in the house, one of the houses that I got, and I'm no stranger to that. I've got properties, I've had properties over the past 20 years. So it was just going to be a decision for me to either have the tenant to start complying or I was going to evict them. But either way, I can sit on 3 houses and kind of sit on $20,000. I'm at a point in my business where that's feasible to me because ultimately I'm going to have 3 houses free and clear that I can do multiple things with. And we'll probably get into that in another video of how advantageous it is to have 3 houses that I've only paid $20,000 for and the things that I could possibly do to buy other properties, to create a positive cash flow in the works. Even if I wanted to sell them on lease option terms to someone else, I can't see a way to lose there. Now, the homes did have some back taxes and some sanitation liens on it. But watch this. And here's where experience comes in. I made sure that she understood anything that existed prior to me taking over these properties at closing had to be taken care of on her side, from the seller side, out of the funds that I was buying the homes with. So essentially, everything that was existing on the 3 homes got paid off out of the 20,000, and she got what was left over. Now, I could have negotiated, or she could have negotiated where, when nah, you pay everything off, I get just a flat sum of 20,000. And I would have probably had that conversation, but that's not what she wanted. Listen, let me tell you something. She had been facing problems like vagrants, breaking in and out of the home. She was getting notices from the city. The tenant and her had kind of a strenuous relationship. She just wanted out of it. She wanted the stress gone. She wanted some money in her pocket. As I said, she had been let down several times. She figured, look, some money is better than no money. The city's probably going to come in there and take these houses. Let me get something now. Let me deal with someone who's not going to disappoint me, someone who's serious, someone who's reputable. And that someone just happened to be me. Now, a few weeks passed by. I checked on her. She was happy. She was able to do what she needed to do. My attorney got my title search back super quick, let me know everything is good to go. We're straight on this property. You can close whenever you want to close. We're good to go. And because this was a cash closing, I basically closed on it maybe I think in 2.5 weeks. It wasn't long at all. I just wanted to make sure that I had dotted all my I's and crossed all my T's. I had a conversation with the tenant that was in place, let the tenant know where I stood, who I was, and what was going to be happening going forth. The tenant let me know that she wanted to stay in place. Now, again, the houses were not in the greatest of shape. I did tell her I would be doing some work to the houses when I was taking over. I think she was only paying like $650 a month rent at the time, and she still is. But I figure, hey, listen, you know, even on a $20,000 purchase of one house, if you get a tenant paying $650, you're still cash flowing pretty decent based on the numbers. But I did let her know we were going to come in and kind of do some repairs to some things that I thought were safety issues in the home, which we've already started doing. And she was on board with that. Now, as I said, we went ahead, we closed on these properties. 2 other properties I've not even started working on yet because I've had some other projects to finish up. But I just feel good about the whole purchase. And, you know, I'm happy. You know, I feel like I'm the lucky one, to be honest with you. We were able to solve a problem and at the same time get 3 really good properties. Like I said, 2 3-1s and 1 2-1. So a total of what is that? 8 bedrooms and 3 baths. I mean, that's crazy for $20,000. So just as a side note, just as a PS, because we're going on 11 minutes here. Listen, this is a relationship-based business. And the reputation that you build for yourself in this business will bring deals like this to you sometimes. Maybe not exactly like this, but once you become a trusted authority in your market, people will just pick up a phone and think about you, or they will think about you when there's someone who's struggling or needs to sell a property fast, and they know that you are somewhat of an expert in your field. If just to call to ask you a question, ask your advice, you're going to get the phone call, and a lot of times you'll get deals out of that. I'm not going to make this too much longer, but that's how I got the 3 houses for $20,000. And I haven't really had the houses appraised yet, but I just figure if you look at the beginning of the video where I did the intro, you will see there's a brand new house right next door. And then there are new houses all up and down the street. Like literally, if I leave out of the street, the house beside me is on the corner. But if I get to that corner and make a left, there are new houses all right there. They're rehabbed houses right there. So I feel good about the progress of the area. It's an up and coming area. It's close to downtown. And like I said, I feel like I'm the fortunate one. But as we wrap this up, I want to just kind of cover a little bit about how we came up with the $20,000 offer price. So as I mentioned to you before, there was a previous wholesaler who had the houses under contract, and he had them under contract for slightly more than $20,000. But by the time the problem reached me, as I said, she wanted a quick closing, and I asked a few questions. And this is a negotiation tactic that you may learn as you get more advanced with sales. But sometimes you ask a question, and without being overtly obvious that you're pointing out issues that may be there. And in this case, I didn't have to. She pointed out everything for me. Sometimes your seller will actually do the negotiating downward for you. They may say, oh, yeah, well, I know the back door has been kicked in. And I know that tenant down there is going to be a headache for you. I tell you what, he was going to give me 35, but you can give me just 20 as long as you can close fast. I'll take it. And that's what happens sometimes when you're just quiet and you just kind of allow, the seller to do your negotiating for you sometime. Also, these were inherited properties. I don't know if I said anything about that in the beginning, but these were inherited properties that she had inherited from her family. She never was really a landlord. They just kind of fell in her lap. But sometimes properties can come with problems. Now, if you want to do this for yourself, what you can do is, there are a couple of different pieces of software out there where you can actually scout and look for properties that have been inherited by family members who a lot of times don't want to be landlords. So two that come to mind, one is called ListSource at listsource.com, I think it is. You can go on there, you can pull a probate list, and that's what it's called, maybe a probate list where families have, some family member has passed away, and the property is either all has already changed hands or is about to change hands to the heirs of the property. And then there's PropStream.com. PropStream.com is where you can go and pull a list of probate properties that may be in transition of being transferred to heirs. All right, so if you want to pull a list and kind of negotiate deals like the one I just talked about, these are two good pieces of software where you can go and find those kind of properties. All right, guys, so we're going to bring this to a close. I encourage you to stay up, stay motivated, keep grinding, man. And if you have any questions, of course, drop your comments down below. All right, later, man.